Now it's good to know people in high places. On arrival back up here, 17 years of age, my dad asked me if I'd like to work on the forestry with him, which I did. I spent a year there and a bit. I went to the railway, I did TAFE jobs, came for 1 or 2 weeks. 1981, my dad asked me seriously if I'd like to settle down and have a stable job, which I did. And I spent 15 continuous years in the forestry. What my grandparents and other elders taught me about bush foods and medicines, my dad and a lot of my uncles taught me new stuff. Unfortunately, in 1996, I was made redundant. Jabalgai employed me at the cultural centre, horticulturist, landscapes due to my experience in the forestry. I'm now the cultural officer there, folks. As you've seen today, it's a commercial business, but it's also mixed with culture. Have a look at our ex-general manager. Jewish, he comes from New York, wife French-Canadian. Our new general manager is Australian. If they are wanting to change the choreography of a dance, if you've seen on the dance stage, or the creation of Dreamtime stories, who do you reckon they should ask? Yes, Vicky mentioned you may have seen me today. Yes, I was walking around with this all day, made sure they do that too. I get on pretty good with them, folks, so I enjoy my job and where it is. And that another year, no, it wouldn't be even a year, April of next year, I finished my 10 years long service, where a couple of years ago I started university studies with English academics and Indigenous studies. I'm going to go back and do home studies. Yes, because of the, I suppose, the finance and such. And work more on my business, because in April of this year, actually June, I was told in April, but in June of this year, after doing lectures with Grand Circle for the last 9 years through the company Jabalgai, the company said to me, would you like to take on the contract with Grand Circle, which signed, sealed and delivered. So now I've got the direct contract with Grand Circle and starting off my cultural sharing business or lectures and start to branch out. So hopefully next year, folks, that's when I'll go to uni and get more into the business. Once I finish my studies with I'd like to go into public and professional speaking. That's when I would do my walkabout throughout the States.
All right.
Yes, folks, enlightening people of the States about my culture, but I believe the door swings open both ways and learning the similarities of other cultures. Why, over thousands of miles across the ocean, folks, they use the same thing in South and North America as the weaponry similar to us. The traditional cooking style of the South Island people, the New Zealanders, cooking food traditionally underground, we did the same thing. The multiple marriages of the, say, the Hindus, Mormons, Jewish, we had the same thing. If you look at the long and short of it, folks, Maasais and Zulus are up here, Bushmen and Pygmies down here. White, different skin colour, due to the Pygmies having the rainforest canopy which shields them from the sun. Similar to us. Our counterparts in the desert, purplish black skin, leaner legs, a lot taller, some even have blonde hair bleeding from the sun. So similarities with the genetics of the African. I throw a cat amongst the pigeon, especially when professors, scientists, historians, anthropologists and archaeologists ask me where we come from. I say we've always been here, people took a part of our culture away. Without any bias there, folks. So, overall, you know, I enjoy my job and where it is. I'm very passionate about my culture. Now we just got to have a look at our Aboriginal art industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry these days. My sister, top artist, my eldest daughter, with the 3 grandkids, also paints. As you can see, the father-in-law with the musical instruments, a second and third relation grandmother made the little baskets from up in Mosman, so all the families all skillful folks. Me, I got no time to do this. I'm a hunter. Spears and portraits. But as you can see, we've got into artefacts as well, and right down to clothing as well, folks. Not only shirts, right into socks as well. But unfortunately, that's all I'm going to show you. Any comments or questions?
I would ask about your shirt.
Yes.
I noticed that. I noticed that the symbols were similar to the room that was in the middle of both of the auditoriums.
Yes. Yes, based on the large space.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That's the rainbow circle.
Yeah, the rainbow circle. My people would call it. It was a stage curtain When we started our company in 1987, it was in a little basement. You could only seat about 60 or 70 people. And then we purchased a $1 million theatre. That was the guy that comes from the States and his wife purchased a $1 million theatre in the main street of Cairns, and it's a stage curtain. It's been viewed by over, I think, about 2 million people from 1998, I think, onwards. And that's why the material, when people look at it at July, why it's so expensive.
They worked in silk and in cotton.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I've got this in this colour, the blue, the button shirt.
I noticed the circular emblem, which was right in the middle
Yes.
of the mural there.
If you look at that circle in the middle, that represents the township of Cairns. It's a centralised area in regards to our tribal boundaries, where all these clans will get together to bring their issues together. It's centralised. That's why the circle is in the middle.
Are there still Aboriginal folks that live in the rainforest
Today,
today?
yes, but in modern houses and such, none living traditionally. Throughout the school holidays, it's a good question, folks, throughout our school holidays, a lot of the children are starting to go back up the river and start learning how to make these traditional shelters and start to learn of the bush foods and medicine, because it's in some of their curriculum today with Indigenous studies. And not only Indigenous students, non-Indigenous are starting to follow too and say, can we come along with you? Yeah. All the elders are going up, and there's a few surviving elders, so it's good, but it's also possible within the, say, the township of Cairns. A lot of these students, you get one sort of bad apple, want to stay in town and run them up with social issues with drug, alcohol, petrol, and blue sniffing. A lot of them are starting to go up to the river over the school holidays, and he's left alone and she's left alone, so they follow, and they are starting to turn now. So it's a positiveness within the community.
That's correct.
Yes, yes, I was surprised at that. Yes, yes, sir.
Are there any Indigenous people who have been elected to office or
Ridgway,
judgeships?
with politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Ridgway, that's what you said, what? Yes, and then prior to him was Senator Neville Bonner. We did have I suppose, a governing body that was set up, ATSIC, the government with old little Johnny, sort of, I suppose, dispersed of that, the governing body of ATSIC.
I don't have any comments about that. It's a lot of interesting times.
I don't believe in it myself, folks, because at the end of the day, billions of dollars that was given to this body, the ATSIC, Australian Torres Strait Islanders Commission, and that billions of dollars given to these people, the chairs on this body, and to me it was all nepotism. The money that they got, whatever community their family came from, we would put $5 million into this community, and they had nice houses and such, and this community up here, a couple $100,000. And I've seen that, just with the experience of
Like
many
the US.
Yes. And I personally don't look at this governing body as being the blame. Why? I look at it this way as the Australian government, folks, and that's my personal opinion, because if I ever went to a baker, wanted $1 million, he would have known my assets, my background and everything, if I've got money there. Why did they give billions of dollars to this governing body where they had no knowledge of, be it accountants, business management or anything and such?
But yet you have an incredible intelligence and ability for knowing how to live with nature and not spoil it.
Yes, a lot are going into medicine, as I mentioned, not only with the medical profession, but with some of the guided talks out there where you get pharmacists and doctors and the medical students going out throughout the rainforest and living for a week or 2 weeks, which with my business with cultural sharing, my dad is 70, and prior to him passing on, I'd like to bring him on board as well, where we have a week or so out in the rainforest, out in the open forest land, building traditional shelters and getting the students to come on and spend a week with us and such. So that's how I slowly build up business. Yes.
Any more questions?
What happens to the men of the tribe when their wife dies?
When their wife dies,
Yes.
okay, you can have your second wife could be about 10, 15 years old. If not, if you've got a first cousin, right, that family with 7 sons, one of the sons passed on, one will have 2 wives, you can ask your grandfather would speak up and say, well, that girl goes to me.
Okay.
Because we've got to continue,
Right.
right?
Are you talking about now or in the past?
We're talking about in the past.
Oh, yes,
You-
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, folks, we have nothing against the females, but because
What?
because grandfathers teach grandsons, if I had all daughters, well, say I had a daughter the first time, right? Granddad would sort of, yeah, okay. Second year, another daughter, granddad would think, oi, what's going on here? Third year, another daughter, 3 daughters. Granddad teaches me, whom is dad going to teach? No grandson. So he can even go to the second or third family, do you still want to marry into us? They may still want to marry into us. So my second wife, once again, could be 10, 15 years, right, younger than me. Yes, long as I produce a son, so dad can teach a grandson. Yes.
It's no longer, like, if you have daughters, would you prepare Nate?
Today, my 2 daughters will tell me to get lost.
They're very modern. That's a question here from Don.
Yes, sir.
And when you get to be a great-grandfather, will you be able to fulfill the roles which you have described? That is the responsibility of the great-grandfather.
Yes, I can, look that far ahead and say yes, because I'm, once again, just with the passion within my culture, I'd like to still continue with passing down that cultural knowledge to my grandchildren as of now, and great-grandchildren, yes. Got 2 granddaughters and a grandson. Yes.
Wow.
Is the practice of the arranged marriage still going on?
Today, yes, in certain parts of Australia, some of the articles that's been around here, like up in Northern Territory, there's an article there, 2002. A young girl just reached puberty. What happened is that man, 45 or 55 years of age, he helped the family out with finance. Now imagine that young girl growing up. Sure, she would have like to have a relationship with a guy of similar age. She grew up knowing she had to marry that old man. What happened is when you get married traditionally, you would move a bit of privacy up in the bush. He took her to an outstation. Once he slept with her, she tried rape. She tried to escape and walk back to the community. He fired a shotgun in the air. Only for him firing with a shotgun wouldn't have been brought to the attention of the police. Police treated the firearm offence as more serious than statutory rape. You know? So with the promised and arranged marriage, it still happens in certain parts of Australia today. Now, some of you may have noticed the girl at the entrance for the tickets, long black hair, she's all in black.
Yes.
She's always goes up to Northern Territory, September, October, November. That's when they have the initiations and circumcision still today up there. I love it when she comes back from holidays. We just sit down, she talks to us about initiation.